Listen to me. Too many people are stuck in their past. They replay their failures, their mistakes, their regrets like a broken record. And what does that do? It chains them down. It steals their energy, their power, and their future. But I'm here to tell you something. The past cannot be changed. It's done. But the future, that's in your hands. Your past is unchangeable, but your future is in your hands. No matter how much you think about it, no matter how much you wish you could go back, the past is set in stone. You cannot undo the mistakes, rewrite the failures, or relive the moments you wish had gone differently. But here's the truth. What's behind you does not have to define what's ahead of you. Too many people stay trapped in their past, carrying the weight of regrets, missed opportunities, and pain like an anchor dragging behind them. And they let old wounds dictate their present. They let past failures shape their identity. They live every day as if the best part of their life is already gone, but that is a lie. Your past is unchangeable, but your future is unwritten, and you hold the pen. Right now, in this very moment, you have the power to decide who you will become. Not yesterday, not last year, not 10 years ago, right now. Your story is still unfolding, and every choice you make moves you in a new direction. You can decide to let go of the past that no longer serves you. You can choose to rise above the pain, to turn your scars into strength, and to create something greater than you ever imagined. The question is, will you? Will you step forward, or will you stay stuck? Will you allow your past to keep you chained, or will you break free and claim the future that is waiting for you? Because listen, nothing that happened before this moment has the power to stop you. The only thing that can stop you is the story you keep telling yourself about the past, the failures, the disappointments, the heartbreak. It's over. You're survived. You're still here. And as long as you are still here, you still have time. Time to grow, time to change, time to build something new. But you have to let go of what no longer serves you. You have to stop feeding energy to what's already done and start focusing on what's still possible. You are not your mistakes. You are not your past. You are not what happened to you. You are what you decide to become. And that decision, it starts right now. What you tell yourself about the past determines how you move forward. Your past is not what holds you back. It's the story you keep telling yourself about it. Some people go through pain, failure, and rejection, and they let it define them. They say, I wasn't good enough, I always mess things up, or nothing ever works out for me. And guess what happens? They keep living out that same script, not because it's the truth, but because they've convinced themselves it is. But others take that same pain, that same failure, that same rejection, and they flip the script. They say, that taught me something, that made me stronger, that pushed me to grow. And because they tell themselves a different story, they create a different future. Your past is only as powerful as the meaning you give it. Think about it. Two people can experience the same setback, but one rises and one stays stuck. Why? It's not the setback that made the difference. It's the mindset. It's the way they framed it in their mind. Because whatever you focus on, you feel. If you focus on how bad it was, you'll feel powerless. If you focus on what you gained from it, you'll feel unstoppable. The choice is yours. You can be a victim of your past or a warrior because of it. You can keep reliving the pain or use it as fuel to become better, stronger, and more determined. But that shift starts with the words you say to yourself. Stop saying, I failed. Start saying, I learned. Stop saying, I lost too much time. Start saying, I still have time and I know more now than I did before. Stop saying, it's too late for me. Start saying, I'm just getting started. Because every time you change your words, you change your perspective. And when you change your perspective, you change your future. The past doesn't determine where you're going, you do. And it all starts with what you choose to believe. Focus on lessons learned instead of dwelling on failures, because failure itself isn't what holds you back. It's how you respond to it. Some people let failure define them. They relive the moment over and over, thinking about what went wrong, what they should have done, and why they weren't good enough. They carry the weight of that failure like a burden on their shoulders, allowing it to slow them down, to steal their confidence, to make them afraid of trying again. But failure isn't the end. Failure is feedback. It's life's way of teaching you something, of showing you what needs to change, what needs to improve, what needs to be done differently next time. Every failure holds a lesson, but you have to be willing to look for it. You have to stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? Because the people who succeed, the ones who rise above, are not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who refuse to let failure break them. They take the hit, they feel the pain, but they don't stay down. They analyze, they adjust, they grow. They turn their mistakes into wisdom, their setbacks into strategy, their losses into fuel for a bigger comeback. You can't change what happened, but you can change how you use it. You can let it hold you back, or you can let it push you forward. You can sit in regret, or you can take the lesson and move on. Think about it. Every successful person you admire has failed. They've made bad decisions. They've faced rejection. They've had moments where everything fell apart. But the reason they succeeded is because they learned. They didn't get stuck in self-pity. They didn't allow one failure to become their identity. They took the lesson, they adjusted, and they kept going. And that's exactly what you need to do. Look back at your failures, not with shame, but with curiosity. What did they teach you? What did they show you about yourself, about your strengths, about what you need to improve? Because if you can extract the lesson, then the failure wasn't wasted. If you can grow from it, then it wasn't really a loss. It was preparation. It was part of the process. It was exactly what you needed to become the person you're meant to be. So stop dwelling on what went wrong. Start focusing on what you gained from it. Because failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the path to it. Your mindset shapes your future. Negative thoughts hold you back. Empowering beliefs push you forward. Every thought you allow into your mind is shaping your destiny. Every belief you hold is either building you up or tearing you down. And the truth is, most people don't even realize how much control they have over their own future. They think their circumstances define them. They think their past dictates what's possible. They think success, happiness, and fulfillment are things that happen to other people, not them. And do you know why? Because they've trained their mind to believe in limits instead of possibilities. They've been feeding themselves a steady diet of doubt, fear, and negativity for years. They say things like, I'm not smart enough, I'll never make it, that's just the way life is. And what happens? They prove themselves right. Not because it's true, but because they've decided to make it true. Your mind is powerful beyond measure. It will find ways to make whatever you believe a reality. If you believe you're not good enough, you'll sabotage yourself at every turn. If you believe success is for other people, you'll never take the steps to achieve it. If you believe nothing ever works out for you, you won't even try. But the moment you shift that belief, everything changes. Because just as negative thoughts hold you back, empowering beliefs will push you forward. When you believe you're capable, you start acting like it. When you believe challenges are opportunities, you stop running from them. When you believe that failure is just part of the process, you stop letting it stop you. Your future is being written by the thoughts you choose today. So what are you choosing? Are you choosing doubt or confidence? Are you choosing fear or courage? Are you choosing to see obstacles as roadblocks or stepping stones? Because the choice is yours. No one else can change your mindset for you. No one else can rewrite the beliefs you've been carrying. But the good news is, at any moment, you can decide to think differently. You can decide to challenge every limiting belief that's been holding you back. You can decide to replace every negative thought with a more powerful one. And when you do, you'll notice something. You'll start showing up differently. You'll start taking bolder actions. You'll start creating a future that once felt impossible. Not because your circumstances changed overnight, but because you changed. Because you took back control of the one thing that shapes everything else. Stop looking in the rearview mirror. Focus on where you're going, not where you've been. So many people spend their lives looking backward. They get caught up in the mistakes they've made, the things they wish they could undo, and the regrets they carry with them every day. And what happens when you keep looking back? You miss what's right in front of you. You miss the opportunities waiting to be seized. You miss the new experiences, the growth, and the potential that's available to you right now. When you keep your eyes on the past, you stop seeing the future. You stop seeing the possibilities. You stop seeing how far you can go. If you're always thinking about what happened, you're never fully living in the present moment. And if you're not living in the present, you're not able to create the future you want. It's like trying to drive forward while looking only at the rearview mirror. You wouldn't do that in your car, right? If you did, you'd crash. So why do you do it in your life? Why do you let your past dictate your future? Every time you look back, you're telling yourself that what happened before is more important than what can happen now. You're allowing past failures, past pain, or past decisions to have more control over your life than they should. It's time to let go. The past is done. It's behind you. It cannot be changed no matter how much you focus on it. But the future is wide open. The future is filled with endless possibilities. And you have the power to shape it. But that only happens if you stop looking back. Start looking ahead. Look at the road that's unfolding in front of you, not the road you've already traveled. You have an entire journey ahead of you, but if you keep focusing on the rearview mirror, you'll miss it. You'll miss the excitement, the growth, the lessons waiting to be learned. You'll miss the chance to become the person you're meant to be. The past is important. It's where you learned the lessons, gained the experience, and built your foundation. But it doesn't define who you are today, and it certainly doesn't define who you will be tomorrow. Where you're going is what matters now. That's where your focus should be, on what you can do today to create a better tomorrow. So stop looking in the rearview mirror. The road ahead is yours to take. Stop looking in the rearview mirror. Focus on where you're going, not where you've been. Too many people spend their lives looking backward. They replay old mistakes, relive past failures, and hold on to moments they wish they could change. But no matter how much you think about it, no matter how much you dwell on it, the past is done. You can't go back and rewrite it. You can't undo what's already happened. And the more you focus on what's behind you, the less energy you have to move forward. Imagine trying to drive a car while staring at the rearview mirror. You'd swerve, you'd lose focus, you'd crash because you're not paying attention to what's ahead. You're stuck looking at what's already past. And that's exactly what happens in life. The people who succeed, the ones who grow, the ones who build something incredible, they aren't dwelling on what went wrong. They aren't stuck in regret. They aren't wasting time on what ifs and should haves. They're looking forward. They're focused on what's next. They know that the past is only useful for one thing, lessons. And once they've learned from it, they move on because the future is where their power is. The future is where new opportunities exist. The future is where they can create something better. You can't change the past, but you can shape what's ahead. You can choose to let go of the pain, the disappointment, the things that didn't go your way. You can choose to stop letting old failures define you. You can choose to write a new story, one that isn't controlled by yesterday, but driven by what's possible today. So stop looking back. Stop carrying the weight of things you cannot change. Stop giving your energy to a past that no longer serves you. Look ahead. Step into the future with clarity, with confidence, with purpose, because the only thing that matters now is the road in front of you. And the faster you let go of what's behind, the faster you can move toward everything you were meant for. Every day is a new page. You are the author of your story. No matter what happened yesterday, today is a fresh start. No matter what mistakes you made, no matter what setbacks you faced, no matter how many times you fell short, today you get to begin again. Too many people live as if their story is already written. They believe the past has locked them into a path they can't escape. They believe their failures, their struggles, their pain have decided their future for them, but that's not true. The only thing that determines what happens next is the choices you make right now. Your life is a book, and every morning you wake up with a blank page. The question is, what will you write? Will you keep telling the same old story, the story of doubt, of fear, of hesitation? Or will you pick up the pen and write a new chapter, a chapter of growth, of courage, of action? You have more power than you realize. You are not a character in someone else's story. You are the author. You decide how this story unfolds. You decide how this story ends. And it doesn't matter where the story started. It doesn't matter if the beginning was messy, painful, or filled with struggle, because the past is just the introduction. The real story is what happens next. But you have to take ownership of it. You have to stop waiting for someone else to change the story for you. You have to stop believing that life is happening to you. Life is responding to you, to your mindset, to your actions, to the choices you make every single day. So if you don't like the way your story has been going, change it. If you don't like the chapter you're in, turn the page. Start fresh. Rewrite the narrative. Decide today that you are no longer defined by what has been. You are defined by what you choose to become. Your past does not control you. Your mistakes do not control you. The only thing that matters is what you do with the time you have right now, because every day life hands you a pen and you get to decide what's written next. Guilt, regret, and self-doubt only keep you stuck. Let them go. Too many people live trapped in their own minds, weighed down by things they cannot change. They replay their past mistakes like a broken record, convincing themselves they should have done better, should have known more, should have been stronger. But no amount of guilt will change what has already happened. No amount of regret will rewrite the past. No amount of self-doubt will help you move forward. So why do you keep carrying them? Why do you allow them to take up space in your mind, to drain your energy, to steal your future? The truth is, holding on to guilt doesn't make you better, it keeps you powerless. Regret doesn't help you grow, it keeps you stuck in the past. Self-doubt doesn't protect you, it stops you from ever seeing what you're truly capable of. You have to make a choice. You can keep punishing yourself for what you cannot change, or you can take a deep breath, let it go, and step into the person you are meant to be. Because the past is over. You are not the same person you were then. You have learned, you have grown. You have the wisdom now that you didn't have before, so why keep judging yourself for something your past self didn't yet understand? You did the best you could with what you knew at the time, and now you know better, and because you know better, you can do better. But only if you let go. Let go of the guilt that tells you you're not enough. Let go of the regret that keeps you living in yesterday. Let go of the self-doubt that whispers you can't. Because you can. And the moment you stop carrying the weight of the past, you free yourself to create a future you actually want. A future built on confidence, not shame. A future driven by wisdom, not regret. A future where you finally give yourself permission to move forward. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not the doubts that try to hold you back. You are stronger than all of it. So make the decision. Stop letting yesterday define you. Stop giving power to the things that no longer serve you. Stand up, take a deep breath, and walk forward. Because the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the decision to let go. You can rewrite your future at any moment by making new choices. No matter where you've been, no matter what mistakes you've made, no matter how many times you've fallen short, your story is not set in stone. Every single day, you have the power to change direction. One decision can shift everything. One choice can open doors you never thought possible. But too many people stay stuck because they believe their past has already decided their future. They think if they've failed before, they'll fail again. They think if they've struggled, they'll always struggle. They think if they've made the wrong choices, they'll never have the chance to make things right. But that's a lie. The past is just a series of lessons. It does not control what happens next. What happens next is up to you. At any moment, you can decide to think differently, act differently, and move in a new direction. You can decide to stop letting fear control you. You can decide to stop settling for less than you deserve. You can decide that today is the day you stop making excuses and start making progress. It doesn't matter how long you've been on the wrong path. What matters is the moment you choose to turn around. What matters is the moment you decide you are done waiting, done doubting, done playing small. Because the truth is, nothing changes until you do. Nothing shifts until you make the choice to shift. And once you do, once you decide to take control of your future, instead of letting life happen to you, everything opens up. The opportunities that once seemed out of reach start appearing. The confidence you thought you lost starts building. The future you once doubted starts feeling possible. Because it is possible, but it starts with you, with the choices you make today, in this moment, right now. So what will you choose? Will you keep telling yourself the same old story? Or will you decide that today is the day you start writing a new one? Because your future is not written yet. You hold the pen. And at any moment, you can choose to begin again. Nothing from your past can define you unless you allow it to. Your past is a story that has already been written, but it is not the final chapter. Too many people walk through life carrying the weight of who they used to be, what they used to do, and the mistakes they've made. They believe their failures are permanent. They believe their pain is who they are. They believe the choices they made yesterday determine who they can become tomorrow. But that is only true if you decide it is. Because at any moment you can choose to break free from the past and step into a new version of yourself. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not the opinions of people who only know who you used to be. You are who you decide to become today. Every experience in your past, good or bad, was meant to teach you something. But lessons are meant to guide you forward, not keep you stuck. Regret does nothing but steal your power. Shame does nothing but hold you back. The only thing that matters now is what you choose to do with what you've learned. Will you let your past define you? Or will you take everything you've been through and use it to build something better? Because the past cannot control you unless you give it permission to. It cannot hold you back unless you keep looking at it. It cannot stop you from growing unless you refuse to let go. Right now, you have the power to release yourself from the stories that no longer serve you. You have the power to rewrite the way you see yourself. You have the power to choose a new path, a new mindset, a new future. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are not your worst moments. You are evolving. You are growing. You are becoming the person you were always meant to be. But you cannot step into that future if you are still holding on to the past. Let it go. Not because it didn't matter, but because you matter more. Not because it wasn't painful, but because your future deserves your full attention. Not because it didn't shape you, but because it does not define you. You define you. And starting now, you get to decide exactly who that is. Decide today to take control and create a future you're proud of. No more waiting, no more excuses, no more telling yourself that tomorrow will be the day you start. Because tomorrow's not guaranteed, and every day you wait is a day you'll never get back. You have the power right now to change the direction of your life. You have the ability to make new choices, to take bold action, to rewrite the story you've been telling yourself, but it starts with a decision. A decision to stop letting your past control you, a decision to stop letting fear hold you back, a decision to take ownership of your life instead of waiting for things to change on their own, because nothing will change until you do. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. You have to step up and claim it. You have to take responsibility for where you are and make the choice to do something about it. It doesn't matter how many times you've failed. It doesn't matter how many setbacks you've had. It doesn't matter how long you've been stuck. What matters is what you do next. Will you keep repeating the same patterns, living the same story, telling yourself the same old excuses? Or will you finally decide that you are worth more? Because you are. You are capable of more than you realize. You are stronger than the doubts in your head. You are more powerful than the circumstances you were born into. But you have to believe it. You have to believe that you deserve a future that excites you, a future that fulfills you, a future that makes you proud. And then you have to create it. No one else can do it for you. The opportunities are there, but you have to take them. The lessons are there, but you have to learn them. The growth is possible, but you have to be willing to do the work. It won't be easy. It won't happen overnight. But every small step you take brings you closer. Every moment of discipline, every act of courage, every choice to keep going, this is how you build a future you're proud of. So stop waiting, stop hesitating, stop telling yourself that it's too late or that you're not ready. You are ready. And the moment you decide to take control, everything changes. The moment you decide to stop settling, doors start to open. The moment you commit to your future starts shifting in your favor. But it all starts with one thing, a decision. And that decision is yours to make right now. So make the decision right here, right now. Decide that from this moment forward, you are in control. Decide that your future will not be left to chance, but shaped by your choices. Decide that you will no longer settle for less than what you are capable of, because your life is yours to create. Your dreams are yours to chase. Your future is waiting for you to claim it. And the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the choice to go after it. So step up, take control, and create a future that makes you proud.